farmers doubling the income cannot be viewed as doubling the farm output actually. Basically, the doubling farmers income is a mammoth task, but it is a neither nor. Many state governments and government of India have been talking about this, formulating farm-centric or farmer-centric approaches. It has to be a demand-driven approach. Basically, all these approaches, people talk, the focus has been on contract farming, increasing production, productivity, irrigation expansion, contract farming, strengthening the enum, all these things. They all talk about this. They are very important. But when we talk about the doubling farmers income, we should look beyond this. Beyond this means we should look for the...
I think there is a need to deliberate on all these issues. How really we should see that the farmer who is giving everything, and 60% of our economy is still dependent on the farming and then allied sectors. Why we are not thinking on it? We are very happy on our tertiary sector growth. We are doing remarkable, phenomenal contribution to the countries like United States, Europe, everywhere. Our brain is valued everywhere. But when we think about our own people, how to take it forward, I think that is the main thing. And it will, of course, start from right from the productivity. How that farm mechanization can be brought in without disturbing the labor component or wage component. There are so many contradicting things are there in theories and practical. How to amalgamate and come out with, I think, synthesis, which we can share with Government of India, and we can share with our own people that really something can be done right from, say, the meager income of 6,000 and some 800 rupees per month. I think nobody can survive with this kind of income levels today.
Actually, ATMA, Agriculture Technology Management Agencies, have been created. After a lot of debate, discussion about agriculture system, because in agriculture system there are too many players. On one side, ICR led research institutes, and extension system by ICR itself, that is Krishi Vijnana Kendras, then the state government, agriculture being a state government subject in our country. As many as 2 lakh officers are working in various states in agriculture, animal husbandry, fisheries, sericulture, horticulture, etc. Very recently, Telangana government has recruited so many people at field. I think in the entire world, India is the only country where there are so many people working in public extension system. And while this should have been a strength, it is also creating number of coordination problems. So after seeing many systems, like including the TNV system, which was very effective but very expensive. So this ATMA model has been proposed. And for ATMA model, I just kept the chart. There is a state level committee, there are district level committees, there are block level committees, and at village also. This is a farmer friend concept. It is a very beautifully designed system where everyone should come together, because farmer needs all services. He not only needs agriculture, he needs animal husbandry, etc. So everyone who is working either in Government of India or state government should come on a common platform at block level, district level, state level, and start working for the farmers. Unfortunately, today this Atma has become like a scheme, because supposing you identify, there is some concept called SREP, Strategic Research Extension Plan. So what is the gaps? What are the gaps? What are the technologies available? But why farmer is not following? If you just go 50 kilometers from Hyderabad, you will still find, farmers are cultivating the paddy with flood irrigation. They are not following even simple techniques.
Now, in doing so, what we realized, what we understood, what we learned, I want to share with you. See, Specifically, agriculture is a state subject which has to be dealt by the state. So when we look at this, say what you call doubling of the farmer's income, we have to remember that we started from ship to mouth, then we had the green revolution, then our emphasis was on food security, nutritional security, and today we are talking of doubling of the farmer's income. Sometimes people say that technology is not there, it doesn't work in the small farmers' fields and all that. I differ a bit from this, being say research, say what you call community, this one. If technology was not working at the field level, it would not have been possible to achieve the 273 million tons of food grains, in spite of two droughts, extreme droughts in 2014-15 and 15-16, and also from 256 to 273, and also 300 plus million tons of horticultural commodities. Taking the example of this state itself, which had 56 lakh tons of food grains in 2015-16, has produced, as per the local estimates, two estimates, one say 96 lakh tons, the book is coming out, another say 1 or 2 lakh tons. So the technology is working at the field level. Yes, the fact is states are benefiting, country is benefiting, the emphasis was on in a different direction, but the farmer himself. Let us take the example of our own state. We have given a call to reduce the cotton area, and that was occupied by pulses to a greater extent. Farmers have produced the pulses, but we couldn't give them the price. So which means the technology is working, the productivity is possible, the say what you call research has contributed. Now, in these several discussions, it has been understood that it is not research alone, R&D alone. Enabling environment, policy has to be combined, and it has been emphasized by the Niti Aayog that 33% shall come from the R&D, 33% shall come from the enabling environment, policy, required policies, and also as well as the say marketing and so on.
And now the slogan of doubling the farmer's income, I think that is, as the senior member in the beginning has mentioned, sankalpa, at least dreaming big. I think that is great. Whether we can reach it or not, whether we touch it or not, that is fine. But dreaming is essential. And of course, if I take the quote of Sukhbhai Chakravarti, the planner, economist, until unless we address effective scarcity of the land, I think the Principal Secretary of Agriculture, Government of Telangana has mentioned that collectivization, cooperative farming, bringing the farmers together in some format, I think that may be the way forward. No significant shift of agricultural labor to rural, non-farm or urban work is not happening. The moment though we are telling that there is a migration, the youth are moving out of the sector, but is not substantive. They may be going for some construction work locally, but the required number has to be productively rehabilitated into other sectors, which is not happening. And of course, increasing productivity will more help the larger farmers. That's what the data has indicated, which I have which I have shown earlier. So the conclusion here is doubling the farmer's income by 2022 in as usual approach is going to affect adversely the marginal and smallholders. It has to be kept in mind, and we have to have tools and methods and mechanisms and products to take care of this issue. I'll touch just a few areas where we can make maximum impact. Of course, Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana is a great evolved scheme based on the experience of last, I think, 30-40 years. Different schemes have come with different names. But I think this is one major scheme which has really deviated from the usual approach of not only covering the loany farmers and covering the non-loany farmers also. But the problem here is, it is again the village as a unit. In reducing the production risk, in mitigating the production risk, unless we somehow tackle at the individual landholding level, unless we can have mechanism to settle that insurance claim at the individual landholding level. It may be paddy, it may be a cotton, it may be chenna, or it may be some other crop. Unless we evolve products to address that, the insurance scheme can only marginally touch and benefit the farming community. So we have to come up with. Suppose if you say that, of course, whether insurance products are there, they have not expanded beyond a point. But unfortunately, if you see the weather infrastructure, the weather stations, as on today from the government source, it says about 675 all India level. When we are talking about so much of geographical area of 328 million hectares of geographical area, it is pittance, it is minuscule. Unless we have at least one weather station, automatic weather station for every, let us say, 1,000 acres of land.
In the past, after going through all the milestones, major milestones in agriculture, we call them revolutions, whether it is green, white, blue, or yellow, or pink. Now this is the age of another revolution. We are calling it as gene revolution, the fruits of which yet to enjoy. Anyway, income as such is a very, very important, dimension in the farming, and rightly, I think, Honorable Prime Minister at least made all of us to think about this dimension, which is very, very important dimension. This dimension basically arose because of, post-95 agrarian crisis, even leading to, suicides of farmers in certain parts of our country, including Telangana state. So the income not only has been found to be very low, I think the economists have to say whether it is 500 per month or 1,000 per month, depending on the type of agriculture system they are practicing. It has been also very, very fluctuating. And the income fluctuations, if we closely analyze in the past 10-20 years, whenever the growth in agriculture is lying low, it naturally coincided with the low rainfall year. So it's an established fact that water is very, very essential for agriculture, and whatever income, growth, production, productivity, whether you call it sustainable or whatever you talk about it, ultimately water makes agriculture productive. It makes agriculture yielding higher income. It will stabilize agriculture. It will lead to whatever we call diversification of agriculture. We say diversification to high value crops, diversification to other important crops in the within sector, and stability within the sector. All most of the things, whatever dimensions we talk about, income, they are possible with huge investments in irrigation sector. And one distressing fact also we are mentioning, discussing, debate is going on, that youth is leaving sector also is playing very, very important role, because the present education system, which is producing just like a factory, the graduates with degrees, with neither hard skills nor soft skills, neither they are fit for rural areas doing agriculture, not they are fit to do any other jobs, is also very, very important dimension of youth. And it's very difficult to sustain youth because there is emerging, agripreneur sector, but not much has taken place in this sector. We have to also say that over a period of time, maybe 3-4 decades, the investment that is very, very essential in agriculture sector has not taken place to the extent required. Maybe in the 16 when we were standing, before other countries begging for, food grains, the entire, political leadership, scientific community and bureaucracy focused on agriculture. But once we attained self-sufficiency in production and even exporting food grains to other countries, somehow a sense of complacency set in the political leadership of entire country, because of which, agriculture sector suffered. That's how I conclude and draw inference. Because unless you make huge investment, because now everybody has realized that farming is not that remunerative. Whatever calculations you do, remunerative agriculture is not that simple. It's not possible with this small extents of land. It requires a lot of handholding by the governments. Of course, now we are talking of inclusive growth. Inclusive growth also is applicable to agriculture sector because it is dominated by small farm. And whatever intensification, diversification we are discussing in agriculture sector, it is also one dimension we have to examine from the angle. Even if you take, subject like farm mechanization, yes, it will reduce the, expenditure on wages. One of the important factor in raising cost of production of crops is wages. In addition to, say, seed or fertilizer and other inputs. So raising the cost of inputs, one element is wages, and farm mechanization we have by and large made as a tractor. The industry, pharma, IT sectors have received subsidies and use low, and that is one reason for emerging entrepreneurs in youth. There is not much, glamour in this sector. So food processing is one industry for which a good policy has to be framed to that valuation, and also attracting youth into this sector will form one dimension of this income addition. Anyway, let me, as Secretary of Agriculture, let me talk about something about Telangana agriculture and what initiatives our government is taking. In fact, you take any dimension of agriculture, whether it is production, productivity or income, whatever you think. If you think of a farmer, if you think of agriculture, entire matrix is on the screen. So maybe you are discussing about income now with more focus, but matrix remains same. The same matrix, maybe with less focus or different focus, various parameters and various factors we have been discussing over a period of time. The entire matrix remains same in the few decades, and this is not a new matrix that we are working on. Same matrix from different perspective we are looking at, and all the parameters in the matrix by and large they remain same, except maybe some transformational technology, maybe in the recent ICT technologies or weather modeling, using drone or remote sensing. Except these transformational technologies, all other parameters in the matrix they remain the same. That's how I feel, because when I studied agriculture, entire matrix I have studied even in 70s. So those factors remain same as far as agriculture field is concerned. So Telangana, as you know, is a semi-rich state, and It is characterized by lot of risks. One is climate risk. Every 3-4 years you find a severe drought here. And every year, by and large, at least partial drought prevails, at least in some parts of the state, few mandals or parts of the district. So second risk is capital risk. Though we have gone for social control of banking sector, nationalization of banks, RRBs, NABARD, branch expansion, we call it DCC, service area. So much has taken place in the public sector banking. But Alan said, if you look at the farmer in the village, what is the adequacy and timely credit that is available to the farmer is also a $1 million question. So we have done so much expansion. Now even the corners of the country are covered by branch branches, whether it is cooperative bank or RRB, you name anything, so much investment, so much manpower is working in the public sector, and even we are talking of touching 10 lakh crores of crop loans during this year. Several folds. You see, 20 years back, what is the credit, and this year, what is the credit? It is touching 10 lakh crores. 5 times, 10 times. The credit has gone if you see the statistics. But if you go to a farmer in the village, most of the small farmers, they still remain untouched, and still they are in the hands of either private money lenders or in the hands of commission agents or traders from whom is getting some money with that usurious rate of interest in the beginning of the season. That's why our Honorable Chief Minister thought, let us give some help to this farmer in the beginning of the season so that we will not run around the private money lender for a small capital of 3,000 to 4,000 rupees per acre, maybe for plowing his land, for getting some seed, getting some fertilizer. So small investment will be very, very essential for every farmer, so that he will not again fall into the trap. It was a bold decision we have seen in Telangana the last 4 years, 17,000 crores. It was a very, very bold decision. The loan waiver program covering 35 lakhs of farmers. But even then, again, we want to see that farmer doesn't fall into the debt trap again. So we are coming with a new scheme next year, so that it will be handy for the farmer to make new investments. You are aware, price risk is very, very high. And I find this is unusual here in the history of, MSP. If you see all the previous years, any year, sown area is less, production is less, demand supply, theory used to prevail, and we were not even intervening in the shape of MSP. Whichever year the area is less and production is less. But this year it is so unusual that for every crop, government is intervening, and MSP operations we are able to do. For certain crops, we could not even imagine that we will be doing, MSP operation. Let it be soybean, let it be groundnut, let it be now Bengal gram, which is coming up, green gram, black gram. We were doing MSP for only paddy, which is a government of India policy to give production for food security, and maize. These are the two commodities in addition to cotton. We are doing MSP operations, but you name a crop this year, there is MSP problem. And the demand supply theory in the economics is not, we are not able to be applied to the MSP and price this year. I don't know. The intellectuals are here, whether it is demonetization, some people say GST, some people say the policies of Government of India, export-import policy. Whatever is the reason, that first year we are seeing that previous year we have not done any MSP. This year we have to procure almost 75 to 80% of the produce of the farmer. This is something unusual. So in addition to climate risk, capital risk, and Telangana is unique in the strength, there is a technology risk and there is a price risk which is very, very severe during this year. You are aware 50% of stone area is cotton in Telangana, and technology risk need to be highlighted in this platform because we have seen BG1, we have seen BG2, now BG3 is illegally there in the farmer field, and we don't know what will be the policy of the governments, both central and state, next year. Neither we have sufficient cotton seed available with the public sector, nor research institution, nor private man is coming forward because he lost in the game because we reduced the price because of monopoly in cotton, BT cotton. Now this issue is very, very important issue in Telangana state for the next year. We are at the crossroads. I'm not sure what is going to happen. Next year, who will supply BT cotton seed to the farmer, whether it is BG1, BG2 or BG3, and it is because of biological nature, it has become now susceptible to pink-bone bollworm. Luckily, Telangana state has not suffered so much when compared to Andhra, Gujarat and Maharashtra states, but still it is looming large. Pink-bone problem is looming large on the cotton crop next year, and we don't have sufficient seed which we can say that this is legal and this can face any pest, because investment on pesticide, input like pesticide was so important for cotton crop in the past. That was one of the reasons for farmer suicide in Telangana. In addition to failure of borewells, the pesticide and other investments on cotton crop, particularly on pesticides, they had to spray 20, 30, 40 sprays in cotton crop, because of which farming became unviable, cotton crop became unviable, and indebtedness, dryland agriculture, failure of crop, failure of borewells, adding to the cost of pesticide has led to a crisis. And somehow Telangana farmer felt in the early 20th century, 21st century, that BT cotton is a boon, and he has gone for it on a bigger scale. It has touched 19 lakh hectares. Unprecedented area farmer has touched. Though we are saying cotton is a monocropping, we should not encourage, but he knows what is what. And if cotton is grown, the commission agent is there, the trade is there, everybody is there to finance it. It's a commercial crop. 1 year it will go, 1 year it will shine, and the farmer will be, based on his own experience, he is going for. Telangana agriculture is dominated by non-food crops. Cotton and soybean, these are the two non-food crops. Soybean also has touched almost 3 lakh hectares. So 19 lakh hectares cotton and 3 lakh hectares of soybean. So more than 60% is non-food crops. What is left for us? Only paddy, maize and pulses. This is the cropping pattern of Telangana state. For cotton there was BT technology. For maize, okay, single hybrid, double hybrid, some hybrids are there, and private hybrids are there in the field with the farmer is getting good yield. How about pulses? I am mentioning in the context of technology risk. Technology has reached a fatigue stage. Now majority of the cereals, there is no breakthrough in the yields. You don't find any quantum jump in all the cereals, in all the pulses, in all the oilseeds, which are dealt by public sector. There is no quantum jump. On the one hand, we are stuck with debate on GMO crops. So the governments are not able to take decision, because that is one way you can come across if you want a breakthrough in any crop. Now only biotechnology or genetic modification or transgenic, these are the options available if you want to have a quantum jump in certain crops in agriculture. But because of our own reasons, and which are true, which are also fraught with environmental issues, and so we are not able to go forward. So this is a kind of technology risk I was mentioning. Adding to that, groundwater problem is also very, very important problem. Any season rainfall is less and groundwater is creating huge problem. That's why we have gone for, micro irrigation. In addition to major irrigation, 25,000 crores every year, our government is investing. Maybe the calculation will say that next 2-3 years we are going to reach about 1 crore acres under irrigation. We are trying to rejuvenate our tanks to capacity emission about 46,000 minor irrigation tanks. In the last 3 years, we have already touched 22,000 MI tanks, and this rejuvenation is really helping in improving the recharge in the borewells. This is also a borewell dependent state. 2/3 of irrigation in Telangana crossing 20 lakh hectares is covered by borewells. That's why our government has taken a bold initiative of making more investments in power sector. Till last year we were giving power supply for 9 years. Now government declared that we are willing to give. It's not that the farmer should run the borewell for 24 hours, but government is willing that yes, I am ready with 24 hours. So if required, you can use it. If groundwater is sufficiently available, if it is required, you can use it. So with that, bold decision, these two sectors, our government would like to make a huge impact, because irrigation water is very, very important. And to increase the water use efficiency, we are going on a very large scale in micro irrigation sector. For 2 years, we are investing more than 1,000 crores in micro irrigation. In Telangana, we have already covered 3 lakh acres, and another 3 lakh acres we are covering during these 2 years. It is going to be priority area, because borewell irrigation with fertigation, with increased, with improved methods of cultivation. Maybe it's raised beds, coupled with mulching, coupled with, advanced plant material. It can be portrait nursery. We are going for now modern, nurseries. We are supplying our farmer the saplings which are produced in our Center of Excellence. In Jidimetla, we have gone for a Center of Excellence which is having a high-tech nursery which is able to produce disease-free, healthy seedlings of, tomato, capsicum, chili, all other crops which are used by the farmers for a vegetable crop. So on the one hand, we are going for high-tech agriculture also. It is not that we are only focusing on traditional agriculture. Now the poly houses have touched almost 1,140 acres. Before Telangana, it was only 126 acres. Now 850 acres has entered production with exotic flowers and fruit, vegetables. It can be European cucumber, capsicum, gerbera, carnation. We are looking for, orchids. These are all very, very high value crops. So going for high value crops is also one option where farmer will be able to reap an income of 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs per acre per annum. That is one technology, polyhouses, micro irrigation, fertigation, and with good variety coupled with, catching market in proper time, it will definitely give 5 to 10 lakhs per acre. In the traditional agriculture, even touching 10,000, 20,000 per annum is very, very difficult. So in the past, Telangana suffered because of, failure of borewells and crops. Now Telangana rain-fed agriculture is suffering because of, increase in cost of production and fall in prices. The reasons are different. So many challenges the agricultural sector on the whole, whether it is national level, state level, it has become a crowded enterprise. Some people definitely, they have to be taken out of agriculture. But there is no, viable option for people to come out and get into non-agriculture sector. Small farm management, the technology which is suitable to small farms is a dire need. Marketing, we are trying to invest a lot of funds in marketing We invested in the last 3 years 310 crores in improving the infrastructure in the marketing in the shape of covered sheds, the facilities required for the farmers in the markets. We have expanded scheme of Raitu Bandhu. We have expanded the scheme of Raitu Bazaar. Now we have gone for huge reforms in marketing, whether it is direct marketing, notifying cold storage, processing unit, you name anything, we are notifying as a market now. So market reforms are there, and e-trading has been introduced in Telangana in 44 markets. Another 14 markets we are adding now. So with large number of functional markets, which is advantage for Telangana, we are going for e-trading, and that's why we could get applause of the government of India. And maybe I think our Enam trading value has touched 21 crores in the recent past. And we are focusing on quality assaying in addition to this thing. And also several e-measurement, electronic measurement, e-takpatis. Once the produce enters the gate of the AMC, once it goes out, all transactions, we are trying to see that everything is digitalized and the SMS goes to the farmer. So in addition to infrastructure, making reforms in the Act, looking for alternate markets, we are making huge investments even in e-trading. Definitely, I can only say that we have made beginning in several sectors, and time has to see. Next 2 years, you will see total transformation in the agriculture sector. Major irrigation coming up, minor irrigation tax, micro irrigations, modern technologies, and we have strengthened now our extension machinery. For every 5,000 acres, there will be one representative of agriculture department. We will have a farmer database in the tab. It will be linked to soil health card portal. It will be linked to DBT, fertilizer portal. Everything, the weather advisories. In next 1 or 2 years, we are going to see a revolution in the farming sector in agriculture. I do not say there are no challenges. I can also mention several challenges even after whatever you do now. So collectivization is also the biggest problem in agriculture. The farmers are, unorganized. Our government thought, and we have to see this experiment, they want to collectivize the farmers at village level, mandal level, district level, state level, and the bodies are being formed. So they are also going to play a very, very important role in bargaining as far as market price is concerned. So in terms of marketing, accessing technology, motivating the farmer communities, somebody liaising between the village and farmers and government, and adding to that AEO network, good extension network, and huge investment is all they want to make in universities. Now they have sanctioned, posts and recruitment is going on. On the other hand, R&D also is being strengthened in Telangana state, and we will see good results. And because of change in dietary pattern, there is a more demand for fruits and vegetables. Horticulture is a potential sector in farming. I'm not touching animal husbandry like cattle or sheep, small ruminant, or other initiatives, fishery initiatives, which will be actually animal husbandry department. As far as agriculture concerned, we have touched almost every dimension, every parameter, which will definitely help in increasing the income of the farmer. Quality seed. We are focusing not of energy on quality seed. We have streamlined our certification systems. We are going for internationally accreditation laboratories. We are able to export seed. This is the only state from which seed is exported in the country by undergoing OECD certification. And other countries are also looking to Telangana being a seed port of this country. Now exports of seed from this country are also, we are making huge investment in public sector in terms of godowns, processing plants, so that we can catch up with the irrigation that is going to come. The major challenge after, coming of water from major projects, medium projects, is cropping pattern. What crop the farmers have to go after water comes from the major and medium irrigation projects, maybe in the next 2-3 years. There is also one major challenge. We have gone for pandals and mulching on a between horticulture sector. We have now evolved a hybrid model of permanent pandal and shade net, which will be very, very cost effective when compared to a poly house, so that we can cater to the entire requirement of vegetable in around Hyderabad city. Our Chief Minister has given a call for crop colony concept. We are doing piloting in Ibrahimpatnam Mandal now. We have selected villages and farmers, and we have saturated with the micro irrigation. We have supplied with the saplings, and vegetables from that belt are likely to come to Hyderabad city. So crop colony approach around all cities, urban agglomeration is going to be one important policy of our state. We are doing a lot of pilots in other sectors, precision farming, not only polyhouse and CAOs. We are focusing on other precision farming technologies. I think there are some policy interventions required at the government's level, whether center or state. Let it be a policy, good policy of MSP. The government of India is coming with a new policy. They call it market assurance scheme. Previously, they were controlling, they were giving allocation. This much you procure, there is a ceiling. We were struggling hard in the last 2 years now. They want to take some policy decisions. Tenancy is also major issue which requires politicians of the government. They have gone for some model acts. These are the major policy interventions, and policy interventions in non-farm sector also definitely is going to help this sector, because all said and done, initially I mentioned that it's a crowded enterprise and some people have to be definitely taken out. So with this, I think my remarks, I am setting just a tone, laying entire framework for our discussion.
Now, just a country of this size, the population of this size, the GDP of this size, and whatever 14-15% of that, whatever it means, about $350-400 billion worth of the agriculture produce. If you are able to, we are exporting only about $30 billion worth of it. Where do we really stand when countries like Vietnam or Thailand or even Myanmar, they export their rice in a competition with India? Likewise, very easy. You take it cotton, take corn, take any subject, any of the farm produce. My view is that only export and a liberal export be competitive with the international market. Yes, then question arises, what about the consumer interest? It is the Indian state which is responsible to protect the interests of the consumer. The same manner I would say, suppose if the rice is available cheaper in Thailand, it's all the, when I'm advocating the liberalization, I'm advocating liberalization both for export and import also. Suppose if the prices of a particular commodity is going up in the country, then it is for the government of India to liberally bring in and stabilize the market. Absolutely, it's not just only the farmer should be allowed to export, but nothing should really be imported. Now, barring this, any of the incremental, very, very incremental initiatives by various agencies, central government, state governments, local agencies, would take us thus far, whatever 3% growth we have been seeing for the past quarter century, I'm afraid would be in and around the year itself. A small bureaucrat, maybe some joint secretary or somebody in the sugar or whatever department called, they decide there should be a restriction on the stocks. That's all, your prices have collapsed. Now, can the farmer plan that next 5 years, I need to invest on this infrastructure, etc., etc. I need to get these seeds, this expertise, this infrastructure, so that I'll take a chance to be part of the global market. A couple of decisions, either at political or bureaucratic level, will simply pour water on the person's efforts. I believe that in the given self-saturated situation, like self-sufficient situation like this country, exports and exports alone, a liberal export of the farm produce alone is really going to be a solution for the substantial enhancement in the incomes of the farmers.
One thing that remains very clear in my mind, that more than nearly 70 years ago, Jawaharlal Nehru said, everything in this country can wait, everything else cannot wait, but not agriculture. It is 70 years later, and we still have only that sentence in our mind, and any number of things have been done in this country. We have sent rockets to Mars, we have sent expeditions to Antarctica, we have won cricket championships, we have won badminton championships, we have won Nobel Prizes, we have done all sorts of things. And we made friends with dozens and dozens of countries, and India has been lauded for its research in agriculture, extension systems, etc., etc. But farmers are still committing suicide. That truth we cannot run away from. And essentially, long ago, Alexander's guru, Diogenes, I believe after Alexander conquered the world, he went back to Diogenes, his guru, and said, what can I give you by way of, appreciation? I believe Diogenes said, you are standing in the way of the sun, please move up. Because what really the farmer wants today in our country is for the governments to get out of his way and let him reach the best possible market. I think nothing else is required, and if the consumer is inconvenienced because of that, we can always get him what he wants. We have enough money. So this doubling the farmer's income is indeed a very, very far-sighted and visionary call by the Prime Minister. I am a little touched by this romantic attachment we have to dates and numbers in this country, because long ago World Bank once told me that the Society for Eradication of Rural Poverty will eradicate poverty by 31st March. I said, please don't say such things. Say contain poverty, reduce poverty, don't say eradicate and all that. So I hope this doubling will not mean that after exactly it is 2 times today's income, we will stop everything. Because it is, generally the idea is to increase farm incomes and shift the paradigm. I've been pleading for this for 20 years, away from measuring production and productivity. These are not the real measures of the health of the farming system at all. Because production and productivity are meant for the consumers. We want to know how much food grain, etc. What we want to really know is the farmer making any money? Is there any income in excess over the expenditure? And does it cover his, the margin, does it cover his expenses and all that? So these will, any number of experiments have been tried, will have to be tried. Like in Andhra, we have, olden days, we used to have this tobacco, and then before that, after that we've had this sugar cane and spinning mills. Today we have oil farm in Andhra Pradesh, the contract farming is one this thing. Land reforms, Nizamabad in Telangana and many other states have done excellent work, including updation of land records and all that. And then active monitoring of the schemes, because we still are in that calendar mode, because we must look at things when they are happening. I don't want to go into details now. There's a thing called DIME, Design, Implementation, Monitoring and Evaluation System, which really needs to be implemented. And if the Prime Minister's announcement is able to be converted into reality, and Telangana's dreams of a Bangaru Telangana to be realized, any number of steps need to be taken. And fundamentally what is required is the undertaking of structural reforms in agriculture, which we have not done. We have been only scratching the surface and doing superficial and symbolic things.